Hi boys and girls. Today we are going to be doing lesson 9.8 and we're just going to continue working on adding 3-digit numbers like we've been doing, but I'm going to show you a brand new strategy today that I think we might like a little bit better. So let's get started. Here on the screen you can see we have our 327 plus 138. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you how we would solve this on a number line. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is label 327. I'm looking at my number line and I see 300 is right here, 400 is right here. That must make this 350 because that's halfway between these two numbers. So 327 would be like right about here. Not perfect, but it will do. Okay? And now I'm going to add 138 by taking 138 jumps. So I'm going to break these jumps up into my hundreds, my tens, and my ones. Okay? So at 327, I'm going to take a great big jump of 100 first. That gets me to about 427. Then I'm going to take a jump of 30. That brings me to 457. And then I'm going to take a little jump of 8, and that takes me to 465. Okay, so my jumps here, I didn't label, and they're probably not perfect on the number line, but you know what? That's okay, because the most important thing that I was doing here was paying attention to what I was adding on. Okay? So this is a strategy that we all know, we've all used a bunch of times, but I'm going to show you the same strategy, but instead of writing each step on the number line, we're just going to write an equation for each step. So I would like to just give you a second. You can pause the video if you want some more time to take a look at what we have here. Okay? Look at, this is the work. So someone already did the work for us. Okay? What does it look like happened here to you? Just take a second to look at the work. Are you ready? If you want some more time to look at it, go ahead and pause it and give yourself a little bit more time. But I'm going to get started talking about it. So, this is what happened. We started with our bigger number, 327, which is what we do every single time we add. We want to start with the bigger number, okay? So our bigger number started the equation off right here, okay? And then all this person did is they broke 138 up into 3 different parts. They broke it up into hundreds, tens, and ones, which is something we all know how to do in a snap by now. So our 100 is 100. So that's what they did first. They started with 327 and then they added their 100. And that gave them 427. There we go. All set with the hundreds. They can cross it out if they want because they are all done with it. Their next step is to add their 10, is to add their 30s. Add their 10 place, which is 30. Okay, but they're not going to add it to the original number. Now they have to add it to what they already have. So we started with 327, we added our hundreds place, and that brought us to 427. That means we have to add our tens place to our new answer, which is 427. Okay? So we have 427, we added our tens place, and that brought us to 457. What's the next step? What do they have left to add? Now they just have to add their ones, right? So, as we see, the number in our ones place is 8. So we're adding 8 to our new total, which is 457. So 457 plus 8 brings us to 465. And guess what? That's exactly what we did with the number line. But this way, you don't have to mess with writing it on the number line. But let's just take a look. We started with 327 and we added 100. And that brought us to 427. Just like it did there. Then from 427, we added our tens, which was 30. And that brought us to 457. And then, then from 457, we added our ones, which is 8, and it brought us to 465. And that is our total. Okay, so if you kind of like the number line idea, but you don't want to mess with drawing all the jumps, this is the exact same thing, and it's how I like to add. Okay, starting with our number and then breaking the number we're adding into hundreds, tens, and ones. I'm going to give you just a second to take a look at the work here. So we still have our same equation, and this is the work. What did this person do? You can pause the video if you want some more time to think about it. What did this person do? Are you ready? Okay, this is something we've been doing in our journal work so much, which is also a great way to add without using the number line. So let's take a look. What they did here was they added their hundreds first. And they did that right here. The hundreds place over here was 300. The hundreds place over here was 100. And they added those two together and then got 400. The next thing they did was add their tens. My H is for 100, my T is for tens, of course. And so their tens in this number was 20. Their tens in the number they're adding to it is 30. And they got 50. And then the last step is to add their ones. Their ones in our first number was 7, which they added right here. Their ones in this number they're adding to that is 8, which is right here. And they got 15. So when they added the hundreds place together, they got 400. Tens, they got 50. Ones, they got 15. And then the last step is to write an equation to find the total. So their equation is going to be all of the answers added together. So this is our hundreds, adding to the tens, and then adding it to the ones. These are nice friendly numbers to add together. We have 400 plus 50 gives us 450. And then 450 plus 15 gives us 465. So this is a strategy we have been using in our journal work a lot. This just looks a little bit different than how we're used to it. Okay? So, if you have an equation and you don't want to use blocks and you don't want to use the number line, these strategies are really good alternative strategies. Okay? You can either break the second number apart into our hundreds, tens, and ones and add it to the first number, or you can break both numbers apart and then add the totals together in one last equation to find your final answer. Okay?